Yeah, g'day guys, Steve from Dirt Bike and Old As Adventures. Just out in the shed, it's a Sunday afternoon, bucketing rain outside, so not much we can do. So just doing a few bits and pieces, but it gave me a bit of an opportunity to answer some questions from a couple of the subscribers. Three different people have asked about cutting the subframe on this bike. If you watch the channel at all, you'll know that I always liked this bike, always had a bit of a soft spot for it, but the deal breaker was how high the rear end was. It was just a design flaw from the start, and I could never see myself buying one for that reason. Obviously, they're now second hand. They've stopped production sort of about 7 years ago, and I was sort of in a situation where I needed an infill bike while I'm sort of trying to pick myself up a 2022 690 or something along those lines, and I decided to get one of these bikes with the idea that I'd actually cut the subframe and lower the subframe. So that's what I did. I found this 2010, got it for a pretty good price. Had to buy it in the state, unfortunately, but did a bit of a road trip and brought it back and got it roadworthy and registered here in Victoria. And then just sort of set about setting it up to my specs. And as I say, it's a bit of a bike build. Not a lot I've done to this bike, but obviously if you've seen the bike build video, you know, we've just basically tried to lighten it a little bit and customise it a little bit. So yeah, but the big thing and what we're here to talk about today is is dropping the subframe. So I'll grab the camera in a minute and I'll take the seat off and I'll sort of show you what I've done with the bike and where I cut it and how I cut it. Luckily I did a little bit of footage as I was doing it. I thought, oh, I'll set the camera up, and as I quite often say, you know, I'm just taking the camera with me. So I actually just set the camera up as I was doing some of the work on it, and yeah. As you can see, it's quite a lower end now. It's quite a different looking bike. I've now had the seat modified and just taken that whole saddle out. If you know me at all, you'll know I hate saddle seats. I can't stand not being able to move around on a bike. And even though this is a touring bike, I rode it in sand a couple of weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and you know, you really did move around a lot. And with that saddle seat, that really limits your movement. You have to go up and back to get it back, whereas I can just slide back now on this seat. As I say, I'll grab the camera in a minute. But yeah, overall, I'm much happier with the look of the bike, number one. But number two, it's got a much lower centre of gravity. So this luggage plate here, the B&B little rack here, is 105 mil lower now. So much lower centre of gravity. If you have a billion passenger on, it's going to be so much lower for them. They're not going to be sitting up above the rider in front of them. So yeah, it's just a much better sort of setup. So I'll just quickly grab the camera now and I'll just sort of pan back and just so you can have a look at it from the side. But obviously the thumbnail has some photos of the bike as well. But and then I'll just pop the seat off and we'll have a look what I did. So as you can see, as I get down to eye level on the bike, and you can see that rear seat's much lower. There's no saddle sort of configuration to it, and that rear rack is much lower, as I said, 105 mil lower. And so yeah, in my opinion, it's a much sexier looking bike and certainly a more practical bike. But what we'll do now is we'll pop that seat off, as I said, and we'll have a look where I cut and what I cut, and what modifications I had to make. So guys, I've just stripped the seat off it and just taken off one of the little shrouds off the side here. There's no real need to take off the pannier racks and that sort of stuff, but you get the idea here. So basically what we did was I stripped out all this plastic, and that was all hanging down, sort of pulled all these wires and fuse boxes up and everything out of the way, and sort of got everything clear of the area. And then basically what I did was I cut through this lower swing arm member right through, about a 4 mil gap, slightly out of parallel. So when I dropped it, it closed up, and then we just cut 2/3 of the way through this one. So I reached up in there with a 4-inch angle grinder and just cut as far as I could, and then I finished the cut with a hacksaw blade just by going backwards and forwards like that. So 2/3 of the way through there, cut there, a 4 mil gap was about right for me. And then obviously it nearly fell down on its own weight. So once I'd cut through there 2/3 of the way and cut through there, I just basically pushed down on this and it just dropped down. So it didn't throw the alignment out. It didn't really do anything. It was never unattached from the bike. Obviously when you do this sort of thing, disconnect your battery. And then basically once I had this nice and parallel, I welded all this back up inside there, on the other side there, and as good as I could get up in here, and just welded it all back up. And that's basically it. This plastic electrical box, I'm going to call it, if you like. I didn't have to modify that. That just flexed down. That was okay. The other modification I made was up here though. So this is the pinion for the seat pinion. So what I had to do was I had to cut the welds in here. I hope you can see that. I had to cut the welds in here, not all of it, just this lower part, and down in here. I cut the welds again, just with a 4-inch angle grinder with a little 1mm fine blade. Obviously all this plastic was out of the way. And I just flexed that down. So I just grabbed this plate here with a pair of pliers and a vice grips and just went, oh, and just got this back down level so the pinion on the seat lined up again. So that was basically it. Just cut that out, flex it down, tested the seat a couple of times, yep, that's all going to work, and then re-welded up in here, re-welded up here, bit of primer and repainted it. So that's basically what I did, guys. It was pretty simple, really. Didn't really have to modify anything at all other than that. I did actually, because I was recovering the seat, I cut a little corner out of the seat, plastic out of the pan, but that's not really required. I'll put the seat back together and you can have a look. But yeah, that was basically it. And as I say, if you get down sideways here, I had a measurement before and after up here, and I dropped this 100mm. So that was up there previously. Just make sure that's in the shot. Yeah, that was up there previously, and so I've dropped it 100mm. That's a fair way. So yeah, and that was the deal breaker for me, and I got that sorted, and yeah, I'm very pleased. I reckon it's come up very well. I've managed to get rid of the saddle seat, which I don't like, and I reckon made the bike look a lot better and be a lot more practical. I'll put it back together, and I'll show you again with the seat on it, and then we'll wrap it up from there, I think, guys. So yeah, just getting down and a bit more personal and close up with the bike now. I think I ended up just trimming, I can't remember, just trimming a little bit out of this corner here, or yeah, just somewhere there I ended up trimming a little bit, but it really didn't need much. And I don't think if you weren't planning on recovering the seat, then you probably wouldn't bother. But yeah, I just think I trimmed this somewhere. I might have trimmed that edge off to make it parallel or something along those lines, but not much really. But the other thing to consider, guys, is your pannier racks. Obviously, these pannier racks bolt up here, and this is now all dropped. I ended up ordering, very lucky for me, I ordered these unpowder coated because I thought I might have to modify them, and sure enough I did. So I actually just cut 10mm out of there. It was very close to 10mm, 9 or 10mm I think it was, out of there. And then just re-welded the spigot on, and that's what I had to do. So just bear that in mind with your pannier racks. I don't know with different brands, but certainly mine required, you know, being cut by 10mm. Everything lined up still beautifully. It was all good. It was just 10mm out of there. So that's basically it, guys. I don't know what you reckon, but I reckon that bike looks pretty sexy now. So pretty happy with it now. So I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I hope that was helpful. If you're going to have a crack yourself and you've got any problems, please reach out and I'll see if I can help you. I'm no mechanic, no boiler maker, no fitter and turner, but I'll have a crack at most things. So hopefully there's enough in this video that you can sort of work out what to do yourselves. Got some riding coming up. Hopefully we might get a weekend away next weekend. Feeling like I'm starting to catch up on my work, touch wood. So hopefully we'll get a ride in next weekend, probably get a video or two out of that, and then yeah, got some desert trips coming up, so looking forward to getting out north and getting up into some warmer climates. Been raining here all day and pretty cold and miserable, so yeah, we'll see how we go. We'll cross the fingers. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll hope to see you at the trail soon.